The NBA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Fantasy. They're coming to customers. Play just $5, $100 bonus funds. Use promo code NBA SGPN. And welcome everyone to the NBA Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Currently Wednesday morning, November 26th. Around 11 a.m. Eastern. I'm Rose Show. Once again, joined by Lonte Smith together. We're going to break down the games for Wednesday. I believe there are 9 games on the card, NBA Cup action. We had 3 games yesterday. All of them sucked. All 3 games were decided by 17-plus points. So National Blowout Association was alive and well yesterday. But Lonte, I know your Lakers won. And I know that Luka, who owns the Clippers, owned them again. Reeves and LeBron combined for almost 100 points, and they ended up beating the Clippers. So I know you're in a good mood, but how's it going? What's up?
Going pretty good, man. I mean, that was I actually was on the Clippers, and that looked okay early on until kind of Luka exploded. But Lakers are playing well. Yeah, no, I saw Lakers are playing well though, man. They're playing well. They're not doing anything like crazy as far as like shooting the cover off the ball or, getting turnover luck or anything like that. So, I mean, it's fun to see, and we'll see if they can keep it up. But big win for the Washington Wizards. Got their second win of the season.
Yeah, definitely a good win for the Wizards as they blew out the Hawks. They bled the entire way. They were up by 30 in the first quarter, basically. A shout out to Orlando, who scored 144. Suggs got ejected for shoving Drummond around halftime when they were up by 24 points, which kind of made me laugh. But either way, point is the Magic without Paolo still look really good, and we'll see how they look when Paolo comes back. But Orlando, after a slow start, looks dangerous is the word I'll use. As for Philly, they were fun. I mean, Embiid keeps missing games. Paul George is injured again, and they got blown out. So the Sixers, who have been off to a pretty fun start to the season when they were 5-0, 6-0, whatever they were, they're now 9-8. So Philly's kind of regressed back to being average, and Orlando looks good again. So we'll see what happens, but the Lakers ended up dominating. Luka had 43, 9, and 13, which is just insane. But either way, point is the Lakers look good. I will put it this way, though. I see a lot of people on social media already crowning the Lakers, like who's going to beat this team with this big 3. Pump the brakes. They beat the Clippers and they beat the Jazz twice. Like, let's calm down for a second. They played the Thunder already this season. Yes, I know that LeBron didn't play in that game. They lost by 29. You're looking at the recent wins. They've barely beaten anybody over 500. Last couple of games here in this 5-game winning streak. Clippers who stink, Jazz twice who stink, Bucks who without Giannis are really bad, and the Pelicans who stink. Let's just pump the brakes a little bit. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this team's bad. Like the Lakers clearly look good right now. Not going to completely write off everything, but at least beat a good team with your big 3 before I start crowning you as Western Conference champions. The Thunder might go 72-10. Like, pump the brakes. This team might only lose 10 games. I don't think people realize how good the Thunder and Nuggets actually are. So I don't put the Lakers ahead of those 2 teams. You could argue if you want to, they are 3rd in the West. I'm fine with that. But I'll ask you right now, with the Lakers having their big 3 back, I know LeBron at 25 last night. I'm assuming we agree right now their ceiling from what we've seen from the Nuggets and the Thunder is probably 3rd in the West. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I mean, I don't think anybody's on OKC's level, not even Denver. At this point. But yeah, I mean, the Lakers are playing well, but again,
you could argue nobody's on OKC's level ever in the history of the sport based on all the actual metrics and efficiency numbers. But sorry to interrupt. Once again, the Thunder are kind of playing their own sport right now. So I kind of have to separate them entirely.
But yeah, I mean, credit to them. They're playing well. I mean, they're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. But yeah, they're nowhere near the top of the West. I think they still have a ways to go. They still have some deficiencies defensively, and their athleticism on the wing is still, lacking, and that's why the Thunder typically route them whenever they play each other. So, yeah, it's a long way to go. They did win without Ayton, which Ayton had been playing well. So, yeah, I mean, it's good. Obviously, the league is good whenever, Lakers are relevant. A lot of people like to talk about it. But, They're playing well. I mean, credit to him. JJ's coaching it. He's coaching it up, and hopefully they can keep it going.
Yeah, once again, I think the team's good. I just want to point out that before I start, I'd say giving them heavy expectations, beat a team with a winning record, because beating the Jazz twice and beating the Clippers does absolutely nothing to sway me that this team could even challenge Denver or OKC in a 7-game series. Anyway, anything else you want to add from yesterday's games? Because all 3 games kind of sucked.
Yeah, I think we pretty much hit it.
Cool. So before we get into the games for Wednesday, a reminder that you can check out the SGPN merch store for the holidays to get the perfect gift for your DGen in your family. A reminder, promo code HOLIDAY for a quarter off everything in the merch store. So that includes NBA Gambling Podcast merch, for example, a shirt. So if you want to check out the NBA Gambling Podcast merchandise, check it out. But if you want to check out other shows as well, fine too. Once again, all under the SGPN umbrella, and you can get a nice discount code HOLIDAY for a quarter off everything in the merch store. So moving on to the actual games here for the Wednesday card. Starting off with the first game. For this one, you have the where should we start here? For the first game, we'll start off with the Pistons taking on the Celtics. Now, for the spread, Pistons laying 2.5 on the road. The over-under's at 230.5. Now, for Detroit, pretty healthy. They ended up getting Tobias back. You're looking at the roster being healthy at this point. Sasser's still out, but for the most part, I'd say 95% healthy. For Boston, Cade is going to be sitting. Of course, Tatum's out for the year, but they are using a backup center with Garza getting the starting minutes. I'd say projection could be Boucher. We'll see, though, who starts, but they played already this season. We know Detroit has been an absolute wagon as they won the first meeting by 6 at home back in late October. They've won 13 in a row. Boston is over 500, though. They are 9-8. I do want to ask you, though, Lonte, does 2.5 feel very short to you? Because I understand that Boston's at home. This feels extremely short to me, and I question why Detroit's not laying 4.5 or 5.
Yeah, well, I like Boston, so I hope we.
That was good. I want to hear your case.
Yeah,
why do you think the spread is so short?
Oh, I don't know why the spread is so short. I would just assume that a lot of respect for Boston's home court and the way they've been playing as of late, because they have been playing really well. They won and covered 4 of the last 5. The first meeting, they kind of were right there with them at Detroit at 119, 113. Jaylen Brown had 41. Peyton Pritchard had 21. Cade, Asar, and Duren had 20 plus each. So now I'm kind of liking the way the Celtics are playing. They're shooting the ball a lot better. They're playing better defensively. I think the contributions of the lack of contributions of their big men still leaves a lot to be desired, which could lead to a big Duren game. But I think they'll be well equipped to kind of handle Cade in the pick and roll, and they'll be able to slow down some of the things that they want to that Detroit wants to do. Detroit's on their 4th straight road game. Boston's been comfortable at home, so I kind of like the home dog in the spot here for Boston.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to go with Detroit until they lose. It might just be one of those where if the line's so short, it's basically picking them to win the game. They won 13 straight. I understand Boston's now over 500, good for them. Beat Orlando, good win there. Orlando's been picking it up lately. But I do question if this front court can do anything to stop Duren from getting 18 rebounds in this game. Like Duren at 18 in the first meeting. Keita, I know, might not be the best rebounding center, but still, I know Garza defensively has been, I'll say, problematic, even dating back to his Wooden Award season at Iowa. So I do question defensively if Garza can even do anything against this pick and roll combo with Cade and Duren. That could be a bit of a problem. You might see Minnick get a bunch of minutes because they need him to be a bit of I'd say a better switcher on pick and rolls defensively, while also being a pretty good rebounder too. Duren could walk into a 2020 game. It wouldn't shock me if that happened. Asar defensively, I think, can do a pretty decent job of making Jaylen Brown work for his buckets, and Cade is Cade. So based on that, I'll go for Detroit. I think it's a decent matchup, but it's mainly the rebounding, which has been an issue for Boston so far this season. Now you're without your starting center. It's a problem. You're going to have to commit everybody to the boards to stop Duren, and I don't think that's going to work out. I think Duren's a monster for good reason. I think that his rebounding numbers speak for themselves, and I do think that Duren could, in theory, walk into a 2020 game en route to a Detroit win. So we'll disagree on this one. I got the Pistons. Any thoughts on the over or under for this game?
Not really. I don't really have a strong take. I can kind of see it in over. Typically, especially if Boston kind of gets in foul trouble and they're scoring with the clock stop in Detroit. But I think Boston's offense has been picking it up as of late, so I could see some points here. I mean, they scored what? Did it go over this number in that first meeting? 119.
They did not. First meeting one. I know they did. First meeting landed 232.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see a similar pace and similar score here in this specific game. So yeah, I would go over if I had to.
Yeah, I think I'll go under. Maybe it's just an NBA Cup thing. I'm picking maybe a close game in Boston. Give me a bit of a low-scoring contest there. Moving on to the next game, you have the Knicks, who are favored on the road, which is dangerous, but they beat the Nets. So at least they won another road game. The Knicks are laying 6.5 against Charlotte. The over-under is 240.5. Injury report. You have no Shamet, who's been a revelation for this team, and OG is injured. What else is new? For Charlotte, you have no Connaughton, no Josh Green, no Grant Williams, but LaMelo, Khan, you have Bridges, and you have Miller, who are all healthy. Even Cockbrenner, who missed a game earlier in the week, is healthy again. So Charlotte's pretty healthy for once, but we know this team doesn't guard anybody, and this team is still not very good. I'll ask you, though, because the Knicks we know are the better team, but they are really bad on the road. They only have 2 road wins all season, 1 against the Nets and 1 against the Mavericks, 2 teams that stink. I'll ask you, do you want to lay 6.5 with the Knicks on the road, who have been pretty underwhelming on the road, or live dangerously and take a healthy Charlotte team to show up for once?
Yeah, I like Charlotte in this spot, man. Plus 6.5. I just think that you talked about it. I mean, this is their 5th straight road game for the Knicks. They've been up and down over that stretch. They're 1-6 ATS on the road. The one that they got was by literally by half a point. I think they closed 12.5 and they won by 13 against Brooklyn. Charlotte's been competitive. I mean, outside of they had a big performance from Harden, but they were still kind of in that game in the middle, and they kind of got away from it.
What Harden have again? 55?
Yeah, 55. Yep. Yeah. So they're getting healthier. I mean, Kalkbrenner's back, so that adds a post presence and the ability to kind of change some things at the rim. So I like Charlotte here to kind of be feisty and get things done. That they've been in a lot of these games, it just can't finish, and a lot of that has to do with the continuity. Melo and Miller being back is a big help. They play better at home. I think they can juke this game up, make it a little more half court, and I like Charlotte plus 6.5.
Yeah, I think that for this game, I need to see a bit more from the Knicks on the road. I know they beat the Nets. I think we could beat the Nets. They beat the Mavericks, who also stinks. So that doesn't mean anything. I like the over in the game. I'm not going to overthink this. The Knicks defense has been kind of a mess lately, and we know the Hornets never guard anybody as long as LaMelo is active. So I see a lot of points in this game. I think Brunson might walk into 35 in this game. That wouldn't shock me either. We saw the Knicks have a very high-scoring NBA Cup game against the Heat. That game got to 270, 280. So I just see a track meet here. LaMelo, he might chuck up a bunch of, I'd say, contested shots, but he's still going to push the pace. He'll still find open teammates. And the fact that Brandon Miller and Bridges and Khan can knock down shots, I do think can result in a lot of points for Charlotte. And I still don't pick this team to play any defense at all. Give me the over. I'll skip the side. I just don't trust the Knicks enough to be laying 6.5 on the road. But I do think the over is intriguing, just based on the amount of pace I'm expecting from Charlotte's end. Any thoughts on the total? Because I do think no matter who wins this game, first team to 120 wins, and there's no guarantee that both teams or that each team does not get to 120. So I'll take the over in this game.
Yeah, I would. I mean, it's a tough one. I would think that Charlotte wants to slow the game down a little bit and don't let the Knicks get into their fast break offense. But again, the Knicks with Brunson, they've been playing with a lot more pace.
That's kind of the thing is I just think LaMelo and Brunson controlling the tempo are just going to go up and down.
Yeah, but I think the path to victory or to even a cover for Charlotte is to kind of slow the game down. So I think it's kind of correlated. So I'll take the under, but I don't love it.
Yeah, but for Charlotte, it's not about winning. It's about stats. That's the point of Charlotte, right? I mean, isn't that how they play basketball?
Yeah.
So I'll go with the over in this game, but I think it'll actually be pretty fun for this matchup. Moving on to the next game, you have the Bucks taking on the Heat. Heat have been good, 12-6. Ware's been a lunatic on the boards. For this game, the Heat are laying 8.5. The over-under is 237.5. Now, Milwaukee, we know, is useless when Giannis doesn't play. Is Giannis playing? We don't know. He's questionable, so at least he's upgraded to questionable for this game. But, look, we have no idea if Giannis is playing. The line suggests he's not going to play since it is 8.5. Milwaukee hasn't won a game since Giannis officially missed some time. They won a game earlier in the year against Golden State when Giannis sat one random night. But since the actual injury, Milwaukee's over. Like we thought preseason, this team's useless without their best player because there's no depth on the roster. No offense to Miles Turner. He's not going to move a needle. You don't have enough actual support to get you wins when your best player who carries the entire team is out. So you could argue you can't really pick this game until we know for certain if Giannis is playing or not. But I'll ask you, Lonte, we'll say if Giannis plays and if he doesn't play. Do you like Miami if Giannis does not play? And do you like Milwaukee if he does play? Is it as simple as that?
I like Miami either way, to be honest. Especially without him, I think the numbers indicating he's not playing.
That's how I felt, yeah.
And I think that's still a little short. Probably should be closer to double digits. Miami's been playing extremely well. They've won 8 of the last 10. They've covered 7 of those. They're 12-5 and 1 ATS. Obviously, the offense is a talking point, but they've been playing a lot better defensively. The emergence of Ware has kind of like shown the growth in his game, and obviously getting Bam back to actually allow him to be, in that more 5, like a pivot, not a pivot. It's like he's more a traditional 5 role, which he is. I mean, his body is not of a 5-man, but his skill set is of a 5-man. So allowing Bam to play the 4-man, guard the perimeter, and let Ware kind of clean up the mess on the back end is being really good for the Heat on defense. So. I mean, I can't trust Milwaukee without Giannis. 2-8 ATS the last 10 and 2-5 ATS on the road. If you want to wait, I think for Miami, I think the number will probably stay the same, just to wait and see if he gets ruled in and you get a better number. But I think even if he's ruled out officially, I don't think the number will change a ton. I'm looking at Miami and a team total over.
Yeah, so reading off the Ware numbers here on the boards recently, starting with the November 8th game against Portland, 12-20, 13-10, 14-16, 14-16, 18. The guy's a rebounding menace, and I do want to point out that Wiggins might end up playing in this game. He has missed the last 3. We'll see if he comes back. There has been some, I don't want to say controversy, but there have been different opinions about what starting lineup Miami should use with Wiggins back being available. And I see, for example, RotoWire suggesting that Bam's going to be center. I think that RotoWire's drunk. How do you bench Khalil Ware? Guy's been averaging 14, 15 rebounds a game the last 2 weeks. You have to start him. Him and Bam are clearly a very good front court duo because Bam is more of a finesse big, mid-range jumpers, good passer, not a great rebounder, and Ware does cover up a lot of the flaws within Bam's game. I think you have to use Ware as a starter. I don't know how you're supposed to bench a guy that's been walking into 15 rebounds a game for the last 2 weeks. So I actually want to ask you, if you're going to bench one guy, I know Larson's the obvious choice based on the lack of pedigree. I think Wiggins coming off the bench makes a lot of sense for this team, especially his first game back off injury. I'll ask you, though, because Miami has a good problem to have, which is a ton of depth. And Norman Powell, who was listed as without a timetable 2 days ago, is suddenly expected to play in this game. So Powell has to start because he's averaging about 25 a game. I know Hawkins is questionable. He's still a bench player. I'll ask you, if you had to bench one guy with Wiggins being back in the fold, who would it be? Because I think that Bam and Ware have to start. You're not going to bench Hero because Hero is still getting paid so much money. So who would be the guy that you bench?
Yes, you said Larson, right? I would go with.
I think Larson's the obvious choice because he's not getting paid much and he's more of a role player. Yeah,
and I think, it kind of just depends on what they want to do with the lineup, and maybe it's something that calls for more effective off the bench specific game. But playing with Bam, I think the plus minus is off the charts when they're both on the floor together. So. Yeah, I think he has to play. Maybe not. I mean, he maybe doesn't have to start, but he has to play extended minutes, especially with Bam on the floor.
I mean, Ware minimum needs to play 25, 26 plus minutes a game. I'd have him around 30. I think he's been that impactful. I don't think he's going to win most improved player, but when we're talking about leaps from Duren, for example, I mean, Ware's been a madman. I feel like people haven't fully acknowledged how good he's been. I think Wiggins being a sixth man is kind of nasty, but we'll see how that goes. But the point is, it's a good problem to have. But I disagree with RotoWire. There's no chance Bam's going to start without Ware. I just don't see that. I think that Ware and Bam together have proven to be a really good front court. And I do think they work well together. And they've been winning all the games without Wiggins anyway, because the front court's been dominating. So I wanted to mention that. But I do think that Ware and Bam together, even against Giannis, really not a bad front court to have against Giannis. I know Giannis is still a freight train, but you have some options. That's really not that bad, at least compared to other teams in the league, to try to combat that. So, yeah, once again, I think I'll go with Miami. The over-under, I'll have to pass on. I have to see if Giannis is going to play. I think it's over or pass for every Miami game at this point, but I wanted to mention that we'll see who's going to be playing in this game for both teams. Before we get into the remainder of the card for Wednesday, reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Novig. So if you like good prices on betting prediction markets, check out Novig, number one prediction market for sports in America. You'll get some great prices, reduced juice, so check it out. Available in 30 couple states. Download the app when you do so. Get a nice deal with us, $50 when you spend just $5 if you use our code SGPN. Get an actual Novig promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by Onyx Fantasy. We're going to give out an entry in the later portion of the show. Home for pick'em entries. We're going to 5,000 times your entry. They have a new offer for new customers as well. Play just $5. Get $100 bonus funds. Use the promo code NBASGPN. Welcome back, everyone, to the McGannon Podcast. Finished going through the first couple games that we have for Wednesday. Time to move on into the remainder of the card. Moving on to the next game, you have the Pacers, who stink, taking on the Raptors, who are quietly really good. Raptors laying 10.5. The over-under is 234.5. For the injury report for this one, Indiana still in infirmary. You have no Furphy, no Jackson, no Jones, no Nesmith, no Toppin, but they did get Mathurin back a couple games ago, and he is still healthy, and Siakam is still alive. For Toronto, you have no Barrett. That's it. The rest of the team's healthy. Toronto's 13-5. They've been really good, and Indiana, we know, stinks. I know for a fact that the Hornets, the Thunder, coincidentally, the Nets, and the Pacers were thrilled seeing the Wizards up by 30 against the Hawks yesterday. So I'll ask you, for this game, Lonte, any part of you want to take the Pacers, or are they just a blind fade? Because I think I have to take Toronto. This team's a wagon. This team's good.
Yeah, Toronto's been amazing, man. I think people owe Kendrick Perkins an apology. He called it early. He called it early on last season and off season. But him and Bill Simmons kind of got into it. But the Raptors are playing well, man. They got Brandon Ingram playing at an all-star type of level. Scotty Barnes playing, the non-traditional point guard role.
What did Ingram have again? 37 against Cleveland, I think?
Yeah, he's good, man.
3-0 against Cleveland, by the way. They've owned Cleveland so far this season.
I mean, they match up well with them because of their size. They got good. They got good positional size, and that kind of bodes well for them in that matchup. Especially, I think Cleveland might have been down Jared Allen, if I'm not mistaken, in one of those games. But yeah, I mean, I like the Raps team total over as well. If you don't feel comfortable laying the 10.5, which I do feel comfortable laying the 10.5, you want to take the team total over. The Pacers have allowed 120 plus in 4 of the last 5. They allowed 129 to the Raptors already. So I don't think anything changes here. The Raptors being at home, I really do think that this is probably a 14 to 15 point win. And it's, the Raptors have shown the ability to blow out these bad teams, and even some good teams. So I like the Raptors team total over a lot here.
Yeah, I agree. I actually watched the entire first meeting because I was sweating out Jakob Poeltl double-double. He didn't get there. He had 9 rebounds, which annoyed me. But either way, I watched a lot of the game. Indiana jumped them early. They were up 10 within the first 5 minutes. And Toronto still won the first quarter, and they were up by 28. They won by 18 because they took the foot off the gas, and Indiana had a bit of a bench run there to cut it to 18. But Toronto, after no-showing the first 5 minutes, completely owned this team. And there was a point, since I mentioned Toronto was up 28, they went on a run where they outscored Indiana by 38 points. Like, that actually happened. I watched it. So I do think that Toronto's a much better team, especially at home. Lonte, trivia question. Indiana's played 9 road games. Do you want to guess how many road games they've won? Do you want to take a guess?
0.
That is correct. They're 0-9. So I can't back this team on the road. This team stinks. Give me Toronto minus 10.5. Toronto's good. I thought they would be like a 6 seed. I thought they'd be a playoff team just based on how bad the East was going to be and how talented the roster actually was. They're better than that. And I'm not sure he's going to win the award because I know that Bickerstaff's doing some crazy things over there in Detroit. Darko's got to be one of the favorites to win Coach of the Year. Like, Darko's been phenomenal. And we saw this last year. They sabotaged a bet that I had because I had the Raptors under last year. They play hard for him. Like, Darko is a really good coach, and he has Toronto playing well for the first couple games this season. They couldn't guard anybody. The defense picked up. The offense is still good, and we were concerned with only one basketball, with Ingram, with Barnes, with Quickly, with Barrett. The ball would just stick, and it hasn't. The ball movement's been good. It's been working out. The chemistry's been on point. Darko's done a great job with this team. So, yeah, once again, I'm not saying he's going to win the award because the Pistons might win 60 games. We'll see what happens. But look, all I'm saying is if we're talking about it being the most improved team award, Detroit was already good. Toronto stunk. Like, Darko deserves to be at least a runner-up right now for the award. He's really, really good. But for this game, I'm going to play the drop. Moving on to the next game on the card, you have the Timberwolves taking on the Thunder. I mean, nobody could beat the Thunder. So the question is, can anybody keep it close against this team? The Thunder laying 8.5. The over-under is 226.5. Revenge game for Minnesota after losing in the Western Conference Finals, of course. For OKC, Shea's questionable. So you're saying there's a chance for this one. Still no Topic, no Wiggins, and no Williams, but who cares? Shea's the real story. Thunder 17-1. They might lose less than 10 games this season. They destroy every team. Even the one loss they had, they were up by 20 against Portland. So they could easily be 18-0 right now. For Minnesota, last time we saw them, they choked again against the Kings. Like the beam. Give up 14 or 15 rebounds to Keegan Murray. Not a good look for Gobert and company. I'll ask you, though, because Minnesota this season is right now, record-wise, very impressive stat here. The Timberwolves are 10-7. They have beaten 0 teams above 500 this entire season. 0. They've played the Jazz and the Kings about 45 times so far this season. I'll ask you what you like in this game because it depends if Shea's going to play probably. But I can't pick Minnesota because this team can't beat a team over 500, and they had really bad choke jobs against the Suns and against the Kings in the span of a week. I think this team is extremely overrated. I don't like the depth. Their point guard situation is a problem. I was low on Minnesota in the win total preview. I don't think this team's very good. I think they're a playoff team. That's a one and done. That's how I see this roster, but their guard depth is abysmal. And Gobert looks older. Conley is a year older. He's done at this point. I'll take OKC in this game, but I'll ask you, do you think Shea needs to play for the Thunder to cover this number?
No. I think you did a great job breaking it down. That's a good nugget about Minnesota not beating a team with their winning record. They also struggle on the road, 3-6 ATS on the road, 0-3 as a dog. I mean, typically with me, like OKC's games, like I'm done fading them. I can't do it. Like if it's not betting on them,
there's no point.
Yeah, it's just going to stay
Even
away.
if they're down 15, you just assume they're going to outscore a team by 20 and a quarter.
I mean, and like we always say, they always have that one quarter that just demolishes a team's effort. It could be a tie game. I bet against them on against Utah.
Yeah, the Utah game is a perfect example. They're down 15-20. Third quarter comes around, they're up 18 points. You know, what just happened?
Right.
Yeah,
literally.
pretty much.
That's exactly what I was thinking. And I mean, Minnesota is kind of an underachieving team. I don't really like. I mean, we both were low on them coming in. I was low on them last year, and they kind of fell into that little bit of trap. But I mean, Shea obviously is the big story here. But even if he doesn't play, we'll get a better number to play with OKC. I mean, they're just so good. They're so good that nobody even cares that J-Dub's not playing. Like nobody even is asking, like, "Hey, when's J-Dub's coming back?" Like,
and they agreed to pay J-Dub a lot of money. And apparently they don't need him, so we'll see what happens.
They can play it slow, and like they're playing so well without him. They probably can hold him out until after Christmas.
Yeah. But again, playoff basketball is different. I do think they'll need J-Dub at some point in the postseason. But for the regular season, I mean, they could easily still win 70 games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the good part about this is, I mean, their defense is still, one of the best in the league. They've held 3 of their last 5 opponents to under 100 points. Mm-hmm. And that's really impressive due to the fact that they're up 20 to 25, and their starters are playing, in the fourth quarter. So that's
Dort also missed some time too. He's back now, but he's missed some games too.
Yeah. So I mean, they're just amazing. I mean, this is the first time they've been laying less than double digits in 2 weeks. I mean, that just goes to show you kind of dominance. I mean, this is as dominant as a team as we've seen since the Golden State years when they had Kevin Durant. But a long-winded way of saying it will be OKC or nothing for me. Can't do anything with.
I'm the same way. If you want to wait until you find out if Shea's playing or not, I'll sacrifice a point or two seeing if Shea's going to play. Yeah. But I'll ask you though about Minnesota. Where do you place the blame, or what do you think's the main reason why this team underachieves? Is this a conversation about Ant, or a conversation about secondary pieces, or all the above?
Yeah, I think it's the front office. Ant's doing what he's got to do. I mean, he just doesn't have. I mean, they've been the same team for two and a half years now. Granted, they went to the Western Conference Finals, and that's fine. But
you could argue if Curry didn't get hurt, maybe the Warriors beat them, but that's not their problem.
Yeah,
they beat who's in front of them. They made it back.
Yeah, and they got comfortable with what they had, which I don't think is enough to compete, especially with these teams. I mean, a lot of these teams have kind of gotten better. And nothing has evolved for the Timberwolves.
That's why I like their win total under. I thought they were extremely complacent and they're relying on Dillingham and Shannon to take over the bench. Basically, they did nothing to improve their team. It's why I was down on them this upcoming season, and it's paid off for me so far.
Yeah.
Look, there is a conversation about Ant to be had because people keep putting him in the certain tier where he's a franchise-altering star who can carry a team to 55 wins, and I just don't see that. I think Ant's a very, very good player, but I don't put him in the same caliber as Luka or Shea, and people are trying to put him in those conversations for the last couple of years. I think he's a tier below those two guys. Is that a fair statement? I think Luka and Shea are a tier above Ant. Is that fair?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, he's a winner, though. I mean, Ant wins. That's the thing. He's won with this team, and I don't
feel like people. I just feel like people have grouped him with Shea and Luka throughout his career, and I think he's clearly below those two guys. That's kind of what I mean. But Ant is still, of course, definitely an alpha who can be the best player on a serious contender, because we saw them make the conference finals 2 straight years. But I do think that you can make the argument that Ant still has some holes in his game, which is fine, but we know that he's a great scorer. The bench is still a mess. Gobert has no offensive talent, except against the Lakers in a closeout game. But the point is, I think it's mainly supporting cast.
Yeah,
but I do think Ant is put in a certain, I'd say, group based on maybe NBA social media that I just don't see him being in. I don't think he's Shea. I don't think he's Luka. I think it's fine that he's still a top 10 player in the league, top 15 player in the league, but he's not those two guys. I do blame the front office, though, for doing nothing to help the actual guard depth on this team.
Agree. 100%.
So there you go. If you want to disagree about Ant, we can, but I do think that Shea and Luka are clearly better. And coincidentally, they beat them in the conference finals.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's an argument about who's better, but I do think that Ant has done things that not a lot of stars outside.
Correct. 100% true.
Yeah. So I think that. I mean, it's not like a big knock. I mean, it's not many people in the league.
No, once again, I'm not roasting Ant. He's still top 10 in the league. I'm just saying I do think there are players, alphas on teams who have beaten him in a playoff series because they're the best player on the court. I think Shea outplayed Ant handily last year. Luka outplayed Ant handily last year. It's fine. Do I think that Shea or Luka with this roster would win a title? No, I'm not saying that. But I do think at the end of the day, the Timberwolves need to work on the supporting cast because they don't have a number one player who can overcome all of the deficiencies on this roster.
Yeah, that's the main issue.
So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. Anyway, I'm moving on to the next game. Grizzlies taking on the Pelicans. Where is that drop? Because damn, you really need this drop. Yeah, these teams stink. Nothing else to really say. We know the Pelicans don't own their own pick, and they are worse than Memphis. Memphis has won a couple of games recently. Do you want to give you a trivia question, though, Lonte? Right now, do you want to guess which team is the final play-in team in the Western Conference?
It has to be the Grizzlies.
That is correct. Right now, the Memphis Grizzlies, who are an impressive 6-12, are the final play-in team in the Western Conference. This bottom of the conference is garbage. So yes, Memphis might be a play-in team, despite finishing maybe even 15 games under 500. We'll see what happens. But for this game, Grizzlies laying 3.5 against New Orleans. New Orleans, nice win against Chicago. Vucevic didn't play. They benched Queen mid-game and scored 143 points. So nice job by them. For the injury report in this game, you have no Herb Jones, no Matkovich, DeJounte, and Poole are still not playing. For the Grizzlies, Edey might not play. He has a migraine. You're looking at no Clark, no Jerome, who I think is getting reevaluated. Jerome might be done. No Ja, no Pippen Jr., and no Small. So the Pelicans are 3-15. They did win their last game. Memphis, though, is 6-12. So they are better than New Orleans. I'll ask you, I know that Terrell for Toilet Bowl principles would take New Orleans. Who do you like in this game? Are you picking Memphis to win by 2 possessions, or do you want New Orleans at home?
Because I really think – wait, so is Zion in?
Zion, as of right now, is in. Him and Queen are both in.
Yeah, I like the Pelicans. I mean, you're going to take the dog here, especially without Edey. I mean, both teams, to me, both teams are showing a little bit more fight, especially with Zion in the lineup. Him and Derek Queen have developed a unique chemistry, and they work well off the pick and roll on either side as being the ball, which either person being a ball handler. They're not winning, but they're covering. They've been competitive in spots as well. 4-1 ATS the last 5. Now most of those were in the like bigger dog role, but I mean I think that this is a bargain price for the home team and the Pelicans. And Memphis, you know, they've showed some fight as well. I kind of like what I saw over the last 2 or 3 games. They've won and covered 2 of the last 3. They did play Denver pretty tough. I mean, this is without Ja, obviously. They have won 5 straight versus the Pelicans. They've covered 3. But again, I do think without Edey, obviously without Ja, that puts the onus on.
To be fair, Edey might play. He's still questionable, but migraines are migraines. I'm skeptical, especially with his injury history, for different, of course, ailments. But I think Edey's probably going to sit, but technically he's not out yet.
Yeah. So I mean, either way, I still like the Pelicans. I mean, I think this opened up at like 1.5, so it's some money coming in on the Grizzlies, and I'll gladly take the 3.5. More than a possession, I'll take it.
Yeah. So as a basketball fan, I do have issues with Edey's game, mainly the lack of offensive talent. Because of a guy that's 7'3" should really just walk into 15 points a game, and it feels like Edey has really no actual offensive moves. But besides that, though, they need him in this game. New Orleans has a lot of guys that can get downhill, and Queen and Zion, we know, are very good at getting downhill. And when you have a 7'3" shot blocker near the rim, that helps. If you look at Edey sitting in this game, no offense to Jock Landale, but your rim protection is going to plummet. So I think Edey's very important to the Grizzlies in this game, and his numbers against the Pelicans historically have been really good. So I think Edey actually matters in this matchup. Now, I think he's not going to play, and I'm skeptical of Jock Landale's rim protection against Zion and Queen. So I like New Orleans in this game. Now, if Edey plays, do I think that the Pelicans are guaranteed to lose? No, but I do think Edey's rim protection and size are at least a defense mechanism the Grizzlies can rely on against this front court of New Orleans. But with the migraine issue, with the minute restriction anyway, that he's had all season, I think New Orleans actually has some decent offensive options against this team. So I'll take New Orleans on the money line in this game. I'll join you. I think Edey's going to sit, but you know what? Zion and Queen look good. Missy looked good last game. Double-double off the bench. Trey Murphy can shoot. Fears looks pretty good as well for a rookie. I think New Orleans is a bad team, of course, at 3-15. They have some pieces that I don't mind. I mean, Memphis offensively is not very attractive to watch. You got a lot of Jaren Jackson ball. You have Vince Williams, who's been playing well as the point guard. But I question the scoring depth, and I question the actual front court defense if Edey sits against this New Orleans team. I got New Orleans with you in this game. I think that it's a good money line price for a team that's much better at home than on the road. Over-under for this game. New Orleans might play fast. Memphis, though, is pretty ugly to watch. Any thoughts on the total for this game?
Yeah, it'll be over or nothing. The pace, I think, will be dictated by the Pelicans because of how they want to play. They're not really an efficient half-court team, so they have to get in transition and be able to score efficiently. The Grizzlies are, I mean, they're not efficient in either way, but they would probably prefer to play a little bit faster versus playing in a half-court set. Maybe with Edey, they'll play a little bit slower, but I still think the Pelicans will dictate the pace. So over for me.
Yeah, I think I'll go with Pelicans team total over instead because I don't really see them winning a low-scoring game. So I think I'd prefer that angle, but I don't see much in the total for me. I'll go with New Orleans, though. It's a tank ball. Both teams stink. I think New Orleans at home is actually kind of underrated in a way, so I don't mind New Orleans against a bad team getting plus money. Moving on to the next game. You have the Rockets taking on the Warriors. Warriors are laying 2.5. The over-under is 224.5. A lot of injuries for Houston. You have no Adams. You have no Durant. You have no Eason. Of course, Finney-Smith and Van Vliet are still out. For the Warriors, Draymond's probable. You have no Horford, you have no Kuminga, and you have no Melton. So Houston, who prides itself on being the best rebounding team of all time, bit shorthanded with the front court with no Adams and no Durant and no Eason, which means get ready to learn Clint Capella, buddy. You're going to get some minutes from Capella in this game. You're going to see Şengün start with Jabari at the 4. But once again, you have Capella instead of Adams and Eason. So I'll ask you for this game. Houston's been very good this season. They're 11-4. Reed Shepherd has really come on quickly as a solid young player. Golden State has not been very good lately, but they're at home. They're favored. And once again, both teams are a bit banged up, but the Rockets are missing a lot of front court options. So Golden State can maybe avoid getting murdered on the glass in this game. What do you like in this one? Because at first glance, Golden State laying 2.5 kind of feels disrespectful to Houston. I think I would take Houston, but I get the injuries are involved. What do you like in this game?
Yeah, I like the Warriors. I think the front court was the main. Excuse me. I think the front court is the main issue and the reason why they struggle. They don't have and then obviously Kevin Durant, a go-to bucket getter. So now you're relying on Jabari, who has some shot creation issues. He's gotten better at it, but he's playing off of he's better at playing off of Kevin Durant and all those other pieces that they have. Without that, I think the Warriors being at home, I think this is a prime spot for them to get a big win. Obviously it'll be shorthanded, but it still counts as a win. They are tied for last place in Group C, both are on 1 and 2 records. So this is probably a bigger game. I mean, this is probably a big game that the Warriors need. They're back at home after a tough road trip that they went on. So this is a game that they kind of have to build confidence going forward. And with those pieces being out for Houston, I don't think they have like an excuse to get it done. So I like the Warriors. I like a big Steph Curry game. So let's go with the Warriors minus 2.5.
Yeah, I do want to point out, by the way, just looking at quickly the groups for the NBA Cup, we've seen a couple of veteran teams win with Milwaukee and with the Lakers. Golden State right now, if you're looking at the actual standings, is 1 and 2. Houston's 1 and 2 as well. So both teams not really doing much in the NBA Cup. Do we think either team actually cares about the NBA Cup? Do we think that the Warriors actually care? Because I don't. I don't think any team actually cares about this. So I was wondering if you thought potentially, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'll go with Houston. I'm not going to bet this game. There's too many injuries. I'm not really interested, but I think I'd rather take Şengün props in this game.
Yeah,
I think Şengün will have a solid game. I'll go from there. But Şengün triple-double watch could be on the cards for this one. With, once again, the lack of I'd say, true point guard with the Rockets. No offense to Amon. Maybe Amon has a monster rebounding game. Who knows? But I do think athletically, the Rockets are still a problem for Houston for the Warriors to deal with. So I'll go with Houston at plus money for this one. Moving on to San Antonio, taking on Portland. Trailblazers laying 1.5. The over-under is 239.5. Injury report, still no Wemby, still no Castle. Harper's questionable. For Portland, Sharp is questionable. Drew Holiday's out. Still no Scoot, no Tybal, no Wesley. So I don't know who's going to be point guard for Portland in this game because Sharp might not play and Drew is out. So maybe a point forward Denny Avdia game. We'll see. Portland, though, is good at home. And we know that this season has been up and down for Portland, but they're feisty. They're 8-10, and they're 3-4 at home. San Antonio is 11-5, 3-3 on the road. So, Lonte, I'll ask you, this game does feel right based on the line, with it being very close, high total, 1.5 spread. I think I'll go Portland, but to be honest, I see a very good game. So I think the line's pretty accurate to me.
Yeah,
I'll go Portland, but what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, Portland can clinch the Cup C with a victory here. So, I mean, a lot to play for younger team. They're kind of building that continuity. So I think the cup play is big for teams like this. So we talked about the veteran teams not really caring, but a team like Portland, who's young and upcoming and missing a few pieces, I think it's big for them because I like them in this spot. They should be ultra motivated. The Spurs, banged up on their own. They're 1-1 in cup play, and obviously without Victor and Castle and Dylan Harper. So it's just a lot of issues for them. They're committing a lot of turnovers because a lot of it is being on Fox. And I think the Trailblazers can pose some issues for ball handlers or lack thereof for the Spurs. So I like Portland at home. I think we see a high-scoring affair, a lot of back and forth, but I think Portland can get it done. I think they'll outlast the Spurs in a high-scoring affair.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a good game, a fun game, but I'll go with Portland. Get the job done here at home. Moving on to the next game, you have the Suns against the Kings. Suns are laying 4.5. Don't look now. Suns 6 seed right now in the West. Laying 4.5, 233.5 is the total. For the injury report, Phoenix is relatively healthy. No Grayson Allen, no Dunn, no Green, but they've been playing well anyway. For Sacramento, no Schroeder's questionable. We know Sabonis is out indefinitely. But we know the Kings did win against Minnesota. They should have lost, but you know what? A win's a win. Not their problem. Minnesota choked again. The Kings, we know, though, are not very good. The Suns are pretty good. Good for the Suns. They've been good this season. Suns won the first meeting at home by 4 back in late October. 4.5 feels short to you? Because I understand the Suns are on the road, like the beam and all that stuff, but the Suns are a pretty good basketball team. I'll take Phoenix laying 4.5.
Yeah, I kind of like Phoenix as well. It's something I can't pull the trigger on it, but I do think that they are our team, and with the way that Booker's been playing and the way that they've been playing without some of those guys in the lineup, it's credit to him. I mean, credit to who's been doing a hell of a job especially with the injuries going on. They got the familiarity from playing a game with each other. So I like Phoenix, but something's off with me with this number. I don't know. I thought it should maybe be closer to like 6. But the Kings feisty. They got a win. They got a win they probably shouldn't have got in their last outing. So it would be Suns or nothing for me. But I mean, it's just something that's keeping me off the Suns. I don't know what it is, but it's just something I don't feel good about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. I think it's Suns are past, but the line does look pretty trappy. So I think I am going to stay away. But I don't mind a Mark Williams game. I mean, I think Eubanks is atrocious, and I'm willing to say that publicly. I think he's a really bad center, and Williams should get whatever he wants on the interior. So I don't mind a Mark Williams double-double.
Is he good to go? He sat out his last game.
I didn't see him listed on the injury report, so I believe he's back in the lineup. Okay. Yeah, I don't see an injury designation for him. He's set to return. Yeah, I mean, the last 2 games, 14-11, 19-8. I think he's got a good matchup here for this one. Yeah. So, yeah, I'll go with a Mark Williams play here for a prop in this one. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the games. Lonte, anything else you want to add for any of the games that we talked about?
Suns 2-0 in cup play, too. So they can kind of, put a stamp on this as well with a 3-0 in the cup. I think they can advance to the knockout round, if I'm not mistaken, depending on how the tiebreakers work out.
Yeah, there we go. Shout out to Ishbia, who had a plan all along to win the NBA Cup. Anyway, before we move on into the Lock and Dog picks, a reminder, they're brought to you by our sponsor, Rhythm, who's crushing it in college football, the NFL, and now they just added NBA. They also have college basketball, if you are interested in that. So once again, check out the options they have. A lot of very, very sharp model plays, which can help make you some money. They also have a giveaway, cash prize every week, just for tracking your bets in the app. Track 5 bets from a model that you build, and you can win $1K. Simple as that. Also, quickly looking at their props for the upcoming card tonight. Looking at the first actual prop that popped up, let me find a good price here. I see the Rhythm Robots wanting to fade Sochan on his rebounds at 5.5. So if you want a Rhythm Robot play, there you go. Sochan under 5.5 rebounds. Anyway, a reminder, they also have a nice deal with us. So if you are trying to get a new account on Rhythm, use the code SGPN25 or download the app and you'll get a nice quarter off first month. Download Rhythm once again, promo code SGPN25 for a quarter off your first month. Welcome back, everyone, to the McGinn Podcast. Finished going through all of the games for Wednesday. Time to move on into the lock and dog picks. Lonte, I'll let you go first. What's going to be your lock and dog for the Wednesday card?
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep it simple for the lock. A game that we talked about that we both kind of like. I like the Pacers. I like the Pacers to give up a lot of points. So I'm going Raptors team total over 122.5. They scored 129 on this team a few weeks ago. Indiana's allowing over 120 points per game in 4 of the last 5. I think this is a prime candidate for blowout potential for them to win by 30 and put a number on the Pacers. So I'm going Raptors team total over 122.5. For the dog, going to go back to the top of the card or what we talked about. I like the Celtics plus 140 to get it done. The Pacers are. I mean, the Pistons are taking some money right now. It's up to 3 right now against the Celtics. So I'm going to take the plus 140. I think the Celtics are allowed to win this outright.
Yeah. For my lock, I want to go with a prop for this one. I'm trying to think if I want to go for a side or a prop for this game. You know what? I think I'll just go for the actual prop. I'll take a guy that I haven't really talked about on the show, but he's been a monster. Favorite right now, 2-win rookie of the year, at least according to the prediction markets. Give me Knipple. I'll take his over 16.5 points. I see minus 120 available on Hard Rock. I'll take that. He's had a monster run. He's had at least 19 points in, I believe it was 9 of his last 11. He's been great. Totals 240.5. I think Knipple is a very good player. Miles Bridges even said he's the best player on the team. And I agree. I think Knipple is an absolute monster. So give me Knipple over 16.5. Knicks have not been good against the three-point line this season. I think Knipple is a good matchup for him. Give me Knipple to go over 16.5 points as my lock at minus 120. If you can only get 17.5, that's fine too. But I do see 16.5 available as the best number. So I'll take that as my lock. For my dog, let me quickly see what the price is, because I don't know if it's actually going to meet the criteria for me. It's really, really close. I'll probably just give it to myself, honestly. I'm going to go with the Pelicans on the money line for this game. I think that it's a good spot for them. I actually do see plus 140, so I'll take that. I think New Orleans is quite live to win this game. I understand Memphis has done pretty well recently. They haven't really played anybody. New Orleans, though, has a pretty solid front court with Zion and with Queen. You're looking at potentially not seeing Edey in the lineup. I question if Landell and company can actually do a good job of rim protection. I know Jaren Jackson Jr. is a good shot blocker. He's also in foul trouble all the damn time. So I could see him getting to foul trouble early in this game. But I like New Orleans at home in this spot. I think Memphis on the road is not exactly a team I want to back. Give me New Orleans money line at plus 140 as my dog for the show. Moving on to the underdog entry, Lonte asks, for starters, do you want to just recycle Knipple or do you want to just pick something different?
Yeah, man, I'm always down for the con props. Also, another play you could throw in there is that Mark Williams PR. I know you'd like that. I think that's a good matchup for him as well.
Okay, so let me just quickly pull that up because I do agree with. I mean, do you agree with me about Eubanks? Because I think Eubanks is just not very good. Yeah,
I agree, 100%.
Okay. So Eubanks, once again, being the opposing center, is a matchup I want to target. I see Williams PR at 22.5. Yeah. They sign me up. That number does feel pretty low. By the way, Knipple is at 16.5 points for underdog. So there you go. And for the last option, anything else you want to add?
I like Denny Avia PRA. You talked about him being in more of a point forward role. I think
it's a massive total. So yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah. Okay, so you wanted PRA for Avdia, which you can find at 40.5. Is that too high for you?
I don't think so. I mean, he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. High pace. I think he'll get the scoring numbers easily. The assist numbers will be there, and he typically rebounds well.
Okay. I'm wondering if I want to actually pivot off of it because I'm looking at his numbers against San Antonio. They've not been that great, historically speaking. But I just want to see if there's anybody else I am maybe interested in for this one or for any of the games, honestly. Do you want to just go back to Ware rebounds?
Yeah, that's fine.
Or like Duran rebounds or something?
Yeah, either or is fine.
That's fine. So Ware rebounds you can find available at 11.5. Thoughts on that? He's had at least 14 in 5 straight games.
Yeah, I don't mind that, especially against that front line without Giannis on the floor.
Yeah. So once again, the 3-pick underdog entry, we're going to go with Knipple higher 16.5 points. Mark Williams, higher 22.5 PR. And Ware, higher 11.5 rebounds. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for the show. Quickly checking the schedule for tomorrow. There is none. So we will have no episode tomorrow morning. So enjoy your holiday. Happy Thanksgiving. You got any Thanksgiving plans, Lonte?
Zero. Just going to watch a lot of college basketball.
There you go. So once again, enjoy the college basketball and the NFL happening tomorrow. Enjoy the NBA tonight. And we'll be back once again on Friday. Till next time, good luck to all of you and all of your bets. Bye, everyone.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna